Hey everyone, welcome back to Open. Our next guest considers herself a global citizen, as we all should, and she uses film to aid her in her lifelong fight for social justice, diversity, and women's rights. Let's take a look at what she's been up to. All right, so our next guest, basically, along with the recent success of her new documentary, Powerful Asian Women, her latest endeavor, which we just got a taste of, the Creative Collective, has just expanded, opening a new location in New York. Everyone, please welcome executive producer, director, and founder of Creative Collective, Nadia Vukicevic. And I said it right.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Rina. Oh my God. First of all, can I just congratulate you for your amazing performance in Street Smart. This is an incredible documentary. You all need to see it. As soon as it gets distribution, putting out positive vibes, everyone pick it up, PBS, HBO. She did an amazing role in this film about Sonia Manzano, who was the first Latina on Sesame Street. Yes, for 4 decades. Incredible. And she helped build the Children's Bronx Museum.
Yes.
Right here in the Bronx, which we always need that for our kids. So
yes.
Congratulations. You were the soul of the party, as they say, as always.
Kelly, I appreciate that. You know, I'm really, more than anything, I'm just flattered to be in the women's orbit. You know, seriously. And to be part of her documentary that is now growing its legs, because this documentary is really well made, yes. And I'm beyond elated to be a part of that. Yes. So thank you for being there yes. For the doc feature of it, the yes. Doc Festival. Yes. And thanks for the shout out.
Of course,
this is about you. This is about you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah. And this is what it's about, though.
Yes, it is.
This is what it's all about.
It is about that.
And then there's what you're doing, right?
Yes.
So you had the LA office, right? And now
yes.
you expanded into New York. However, you are in films and you have your own films and you direct and you do a little yes. bit of everything. However, your I guess motivation behind everything is primarily to empower women.
Yes, yes. Empower women and folks that look like myself too. You know, earlier you had, you know, a lovely doctor and author here, you know, talking about, you know, she wanted to see representation of herself, and that's also what inspired her to write the book. So for me, a lot of it's also about empowering women and giving them key positions on film sets. You know, I was attending this Women in Films gala about 2 years ago, and Eva Longoria was there and saying, you know, we don't have that many Latina women directors in Hollywood. She's like, you know, just look around. And a lot of people didn't think about that. And I always say, you know, from the beginning of my career, I've always championed women directors, always championed women producers, women founders of production companies, you know, whether it was the Latin division of Palmar Pictures, you know, and Elizabeth Cházaro, who then later on introduced me to Julia de la Rosa and all these other amazing women directors that I had the opportunity to work with. But even in the independent film world, I started working with Hannah Wire, you know, with Good Machine back in the 90s. And you know, she had a short film at Sundance that drew the attention to all these other producers that thought, you know what, we're going to do a feature and give her an opportunity. And she had a script written, Arresting Gina, and that was my very first film. I worked locations. I was in 19 different locations in New Jersey. And so I worked my way all the way up to director, not just as a PA, script supervisor, you know, like I said, locations intern. You're the first one in, the last one out. You better make sure everything's picked up and clean and the toilets are left immaculate and no cigarette butts on the floor as it were back in the day. But yeah, I really feel that it's important. I think women still, there's this huge pay gap and that shouldn't be. I think, when we consider the Academy just recently nominated its first woman DP, Mandy Walker,
Right.
whom I've had the opportunity to bid a number of times and also give her commercial work in the past. But there should already have been an award given, you know what I'm saying,
Correct.
to a woman DP. We have incredible, I have Valentina Caniglia shooting, the series that you just mentioned. Thank you for that shout out for the powerful, inspiring Asian women. The next, part is Latinas Poderosas, which we already shot proof of concept with Marcela Bordes, who's an incredible Mexican actress, also the voiceover for Minnie Mouse in the Latin market here in the United States. And so that was in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. And now we're November, which is Native American Heritage Month. And that's something also that I think is very important in the documentary, that we're not just doing Asian women strictly or Southeast Asian women, but we're also doing all our Native American indigenous women and women that have actually gone to Senate, and we finally elected some Native American women. So that's really important. The next one's going to be on my Black powerful woman, and then all the women that came before us that include Gloria Steinem, that include Jane Goodall, who sadly passed away, but we want to make sure that we document their legacy to the world. This is also the artistic world, but it's also the scientists, the engineers, like Dr. Anita Sengupta, who's, she's basically putting together the next hydroplane, which should be in our skies, because we
Right.
shouldn't be polluting it,
Yeah.
with fuel. We should be using hydrogen
Right.
and all the beautiful things Mother Nature's given us to preserve her and make sure that the next generation can enjoy it as well.
And learn from it
Yes.
as well, right? Because we only know what's accessible, which was the conversation prior to this, right?
Yes.
But before we run out of time, I want to talk about Creative Collective,
Yes.
because yes, this is Nadia's movement. This is Nadia's
Yes.
motivation behind the films, and
Yes.
you're very deliberate about everything you do, and now you've
Thank
expanded,
you.
and so this is the actual commercial market
Yes.
aspect of what it
Yes.
is that you do. So I want to make sure that they understand what that means to have, once again, create a balance in understanding, well, I have to generate revenue and I have to do it in a way that I can have an impact. So I have to apply this over here in order for me to work independently over here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you described it beautifully. And that's always how I explain it. Like, we have to fuel these impact films that are going to have that powerful, right, impact in the community that we hope to deliver through the commercial viable branded content. And so that's why Creative Collective is a branding company. We're a small independent company, so we're not owned by any of the 3 global ad agencies, like Omni and Euro RSG. They all own now the smaller companies. So we're very independent that way. And then we also have the ability to scale up and size down, and flexible as well. We take pride in saying we're flexible, especially when it comes to budgets, because we understand, say, if your brand as an individual want to raise brand awareness, you want to gain more followers, you want to gain even maybe possibly more volunteers if you're running a nonprofit.
Right.
So this is where we help tailor, to your needs. We sit down, we have a very in-depth conversation about where you see yourself going the next year, even the next quarter, the next 5 years, how you want those donors for, say, if it's a nonprofit to look like, what type of messaging do you want to put out there? And even when it comes to social media, that's an area that we've been doing a lot for clients and different brands recently. And you'd be surprised, with new studies coming out. A lot of people are on LinkedIn now more than ever looking for work, trying to exchange stories there, reinventing themselves. And engagement per the Metropole 2025, social media study just came out, and it's up 99% on LinkedIn.
But LinkedIn is like, for me, the adulting social media. That's what I consider it. It's like the adulting, because that's where the professionals are, and that's where we're going to have, I would say, more upscale conversations.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, because you've expanded into New York, that means you had great success in LA. So how does a person, create a moment with you, and or have make an appointment, or what does that look like?
Absolutely. Well, I always tell people, my mom always says, if you want someone to get something done, ask your busiest child. And she had 5 kids. So, very big, familia numerosa Filipina, big mix. And so I always tell people I'm the easiest person to reach. It's easy, Nadia@nadiafilms.com. That's my email. You can also look at us on our website at www.creativecollective.com. creative-collective.us, or if not, you can look at my website, nadiafilms.com, where you can also see the trailer for the first episode of Mirachai that won already 16 awards internationally. We're so blessed and so happy that, it's been already also selected to 30 film festivals. So we're hoping to, continue with that. And we're looking also always for people who want to help fund it and who also want to help out with distribution. So we're very approachable. We're located right here in Midtown, and in LA, we're in a place called now Crenshaw Manor. It's just east from Culver City. And so, yeah, we hope to bring loads of work in. And just like, in LA during the strike and the fires, we continue to hire everyone we could and continue to pay them their wages per the union. Even if we were in a strike, we didn't want to, have to lower those wages at all, and put families and folks to business, to work.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Spread the wealth,
Yes, create the wealth, and also create accessibility, because that's what we're really talking about. And mi gente, this is about us, our people of color, and here we're offering opportunities and individuals, we're sharing individuals who are making these possibilities accessible. So once again, Nadia Vukcevic, I said it right.
You got it, yes.
Who, again, has expanded Creative Collective here in New York, and Creative Collective bicultural branding. You can visit creative-collective.us, or you can call 917-439-5064. And if you're interested in Nadia and her film, Powerful Asian Women, you can go to nadiafilms.com. Stay tuned. There's more open when we return.